good-natured back and forth between the players while we wait to get this one. And let's get this update now from Doris Berkowitz across the way on the sideline.
Kevin, here's what the Celtics head coach had to say when he spoke just a few minutes ago. A lot of the strategy is focused on Dwight Howard, and rightly so. He said, we know Dwight can do it all, and it is going to take a 5-man effort to slow him down. He can finish, block shots, rebound. The guy is almost 7 feet of pure muscle, and there is just no way to handle him one-on-one. If there is a way, the NBA hasn't discovered it yet.
Thank you, Doris. Parsons sets a screen for Harden. Parsons attacking, kicks it out to Harden. Pass to Lynn. Throws it up high. And Tyler finishing it off.
Incredible timing on the alley-oop.
He absolutely hammered it down.
And that's the play we're going to remember when this game is all said and done. You knew that at some point the window for the group of Celtics that had won a title was going to close. I mean, it was inevitable. But last year seemed like they were going to go for one last hurrah as they added some depth and looked to reload for another run.
Howard with a screen on the run. Lynn fires. And it's good. Assisting on the play was Brooks. Brooks has got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. There's the pass to the body. Back to Rondo. This ball movement by Boston. Here's the bodyguard, defended by Lynn. Gets it to go. And getting back to the Celtics and Rondo's injury, a lot of people expected them to start the rebuilding process. Ended up staying pat at the deadline, Steve. Even though there was, it seemed, a lot of interest.
You know, you want to give that group, KG and Pierce and Rondo, you want to give them another run. And they had their last hurrah. They didn't get it finished. And now you start the rebuilding project. So a lot of trades, a lot of movement over the summer. But I like the fact that they gave that club one more run.
Lynn gets a screen from Tamby. The dish to Casper. Pass to Beverly. The tray. And Lee pulls it down. Passes it to the body. Lays it in without an inch of room around it. The bodyguard's got 6. A good game so far as we conclude the first quarter. Boston on top. They lead by 2. And we'll get things started in the second quarter when... Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for Boston.
A lot of success from mid-range so far for them, guys. If nothing else works, they can always fall back on the jump shot. Yeah, I've noticed also that the quick hands have led to a lot of forced turnovers. They're getting some points in transition as a result.
On the board for the Celtics, second quarter underway. The guards, Rajon Rondo and Courtney Lee. Bodyguard is out there with Jared Sullinger. And it's Bass in at the 5. Home in the paint. Celtics making a switch here. Bradley's checked in.
Well, it certainly had the makings of a great story. Harden versus his old team. The Rockets coming back with a big Game 5 win. If they could get Game 6, they'd be able to force that final 7th game and maybe pull off the upset. But it wasn't meant to be.
From deep, Harden gets it to go. Harden's got 5 now.
D there, guys, is pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like that open.
There's the bodyguard. And it goes. That's good. And while we're thinking about him, did you just catch his comments at the press conference after their last game?
Guys, we always hear things about good teammates, and he certainly seems to be one of them. He has nothing but positive things to say about the rest of his team. Well, when you talk up your teammates as much as he does, it's going to pay off. I mean, they become more confident. They respect you. They appreciate you. And now...
The feed to Rondo. And there's the pass to the body. Free throw line jump shot. Can't get it to go. And Houston the other end. Clark, this is the first they're seeing of Boston.
Yeah, and you look back to last year, these two teams were very evenly matched. They split the 2 games that they played.
They get it back. Parsons outside. Back to Howard. The brilliant two-handed jam.
Pure hustle on that play. And that's what it takes on the offensive board. It's not about ability as much as it is desire.
And that Clark and some muscle. And he showed us he's got plenty of that with the huge dunk.
Well, in a tight game, I mean, they could use a few more of those hustle plays going forward if they're going to win.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Brooks. Doris, over to you.
Hey, Kevin, the bodyguard in that last game against the Timberwolves really delivered. He finished 21 points and helped out the team by coming up with a few key steals in that one as well. He was just too much to handle as he came off the bench to turn in a great outing, guys. They hope it continues.
Thank you, Doris. He was the player they leaned on that night, Steve, and he didn't disappoint them.
No, he didn't. In fact, he did everything they asked of him and more. And I think he really enjoys being that go-to guy for them.
Yeah, I think he relishes that because he knows he's capable of doing it. He's had some performances that have fortified his confidence in that role. So he's in a good place right now.
Howard setting the pick for Brooks. He lobs over the pass. And Howard with the step.
You can see the eye contact there. Gave a little nod and then burst to the rim for the alley-oop slam.
No doubt, Clark. A pair of teammates with a terrific feel for each other out on the floor.
And what a play to make in a close game, a potential momentum builder. Well, you think back to 2011 and 12 when Dwight was playing his final season in Orlando. He just didn't know what was going to happen. He would say one thing and then do another. It turned into a long saga. And then it's kind of the same thing happened last year with the Lakers.
Here's what Boston's going to do right now. Jared Saunders checked in for Green. Lee comes in for Avery Bradley. And Jordan Crawford is set in for Rajon Rondo. We'll get back to Howard. He said he knew where he would sign, but there were all sorts of possibilities as he went back through free agency.
Yeah, Kevin, the contenders and pretenders ended up being clear fairly fast. I mean, as you might imagine, when a franchise player hits the market, there's a lot of interest. But ultimately, he ended up here, which seems to be a really good fit for him.
Snatched up. Lynn off with the layup.
You see the defenders get out of his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the bucket, but not that time.
The shot's good from Bodyguard.
Beautiful finger roll to cap head drive off. He knows how to finish with some flair and flavor, guys.
Brooks kicks to Lynn. We've got 1:23 left to play in the first half. The drive by Brooks. Cannot hit. Nice D from Crawford.
You know, typically, guys, he has the body control to finish when he's in that tight. I'm not sure what happened there.
You know, the Rockets did a lot to make over their backcourt last season as they brought in two big names in Jeremy Lin and James Harden. That's not always an easy adjustment. It took a little time for both of those guys to figure out how to coexist in the pick-and-roll offense. The number of points they've scored in the paint already today is pretty eye-opening, Steve.
No, it's off the charts. It really is. And defensively, I mean, they have to start shutting down some of those lanes to the hoop.
The shot's good from Bodyguard. And Clark, as you said, it took some time for this Houston backcourt to learn how to play with each other, but that is the case for any duo. Eventually, Steve, they found a happier medium, and that initiated some great offense between them.
Well, they were much more effective down the stretch last season, Kevin. And I thought it really showed in the way Lin and Harden kind of played off of each other. So, you know, a lot of teams, they seem to want to have that second option for bringing the ball up or for attacking. And it is very effective to have a couple of guys who can each attack and create.
Blocked. But they'll get another chance. It's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. And it goes as the official calls the foul. Counting. They'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
It's the 10th straight point they've given up in the paint. I guess the good news is they've taken away the outside shot.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter how good their perimeter defense is if they're going to allow inside looks as easy as that.
Here's Harden. He with the block. Just 3 on the clock. And he makes no mistake on the slam dunk.
Yet another bucket in tight for him. That's how he's earning his points today.
And that concludes the first half. Celtics lead by 7. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
Now, presented by Sprint. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. I'm Damon Bruce.
Boston leading against the Rockets in Houston. They're off to a good start this season, playing with confidence. Outstanding bench production. They've gotten a very nice lift, and that's made a huge difference for them on the scoreboard. And midway through, the Rockets are still alive. The assist total indicative of their unselfish play, spreading that ball around. Dwight Howard's their top scorer. Seems like everything's falling for him. Not sure if he even knows how to miss. Now let's get back over to Kevin Harlan and the rest of our crew as the second half gets underway.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And now the third quarter about to get going. Look at the bodyguard in this one. He's been everywhere.
He has that slasher mentality.
Last game for Boston, they picked up the W against the Timberwolves at Target Center. Isaiah Cannon is out there with Harden. Then there's Howard. And there's Williams. And it's Smith in at the 4 spot. So that's who's on the floor for the Rockets. And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Guys, dominant centers often take a pounding with intentional fouls. Once the Hornets hit stuff for a long time, he'd get frustrated when he didn't get the calls from the officials. And from 2010 to 2011, he led the league in technical fouls. The last 2 seasons, he's dialed it down. But he did draw criticism for getting kicked out of a game in the playoffs. He said, when I allow those petty things to get to me, it affects my teammates and we lose games. I've got to do a better job of keeping my composure, to affect the game and not let the game affect me. Guys, he's made strides, but he's got to continue to put that perspective into action.
Well, Doris, interesting how that mental discipline and training can help sometimes as much as the physical side. Thank you. Cannon the pass to win. Left side lane. Here's Cannon. And it's off from 3-point range.
You know, Jared Sullinger was one of the top prospects in the 2012 draft, but concerns about his back dropped him to the 21st pick by Boston. And, you know, those concerns were well-founded. He ended up going under the knife in February after a back issue in Boston. He did play well, though, prior to that injury.
Lynn kicks to Cannon. Back to Lynn. 6 to shoot. Dishes to Williams. Puts it up from 17. The basket good off the assist from Lynn. Well, back to Sullinger. He'd been playing pretty much all season in pain, showing a lot of grit and toughness, I thought, Clark, as the season wore on.
Yeah, Kevin, and the good news as his back recovers is that his game was never really based on his leaping ability. His game is low to the ground, based on savvy and skill. He's strong, powerful, and again, very skilled. So the recovery prognosis is good. And I think he's looking forward to a long and productive career. He's a really good basketball player.
Lynn kicks to Williams. No good from outside. Celtics leading by 23. And there's the call by the official. They'll count the basket here following the goaltending call.
You got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
And that call gets an instant reaction from the fans.
Well, that's a whistle that did not go over very well.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Chris Humphries has checked in for pass. Green comes in for Marshawn Brooks, and it's Avery Bradley in for Rajon Rondo.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but in the rebounding department too, Clark.
Yeah, it's been a really gritty performance. They'll have some bruises to show for it, but that's the way it should be. You should feel that you've competed when you do that work inside.
Really left the one that time. And that's now 11 points for James Harden. From midcourt, shot is off. The 3 quarters of play all in the books, and this one all but over already. Boston on top, running away with it. We'll take a quick break, then get you back to the action. And we welcome you back as we get going here. We've played just over 1 minute here in the 4th quarter. On the court right now for the Celtics. Speedy backcourt of Rondo and Bradley. Inside it's Sullinger and Humphries. And it's the bodyguard in at the 3. Brooks gets the screen from Howard. And Brooks, here we go. And John Rondo with the rebound. Rondo's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight.
You know, he just hasn't looked right to me. A bit out of sorts, if you will. Something's off with his mechanics. at least as I look at him.
Well, his body control is what I notice. I think that jumps off the page when you watch him play, even with the defender draped all over him. He's able to find a way to get to the rim and get the shot to go in.
Not to mention, guys, he's got those rush hour handles. He can get in a lot of tight spaces the way he handles that ball. He's able to dissect the defense with ease. You know, he's knocking down his shots today, but it hasn't really translated to the scoreboard yet.
He passes to the bodyguard. Back to Rondo. Here's the bodyguard. Blocked. Just a little under 2.5 minutes of pace now here in the fourth. That's good. And 11 points for Aaron Brooks.
Late reaction from the defense, and he's always going to make good on that.
And the officials will call the illegal screen right there. And this is what the schedule looks like for Houston. Their next game is at the American Airlines Center in Dallas for a game with the Mavericks. That'll be just one game played away from home for them.
Some good matchups. And that Dallas Mavericks game definitely one to be checking out.
Chandler Parsons, who's checked in for Houston. Jeremy Lin comes in for Aaron Brooks.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any agenda.
It's hard to overstate all the points they've scored on assists today. Beautiful to watch.
There's the bodyguard. A three-pointer off the mark. Well, as the Boston Celtics were in their last game against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
And it was the role players in that game, Kevin, that really led the charge. The guys who normally don't score a lot, they came in and really contributed.
A total team performance, Steve, the kind you need if you're going to win on the opponent's home floor.
Camby sets the screen for Harden. Back to Lin. Another shot. And the Rockets getting another bucket right there. Here's Bradley. Over 3.5 minutes through the final quarter now.
Poor shooting from him this quarter. His shooting percentage nowhere near where he'd like it to be.
On the wing, Harden. All sorts of time. Yes! And a nice assist from Lin. Lin's got 4 assists now tonight. Celtics leading by 14. They need this one. He takes it up and lays it in. That's now 32 points for the bodyguard.
And at the offense.